Welcome to the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. As I light the Palo Santo, let us reset the space, allowing new energy and new thoughts to enter. What was does not automatically become what is, and even if it does, it does not mean it always will. Let us release what we must to receive what we must. It is mine. It is yours. What is for us will always be Ashe.
Welcome back. What's up to the old homies? What's up to the new homies? I'm Carter, and this is the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. Today, I'm joined with Nate. Welcome, man. I appreciate you pulling up to the
Thanks for
podcast,
having me,
man.
bro. Thanks for having me.
So Nate is a personal trainer. Nate is a model, an actor, a former collegiate athlete. Played football. We both actually played football,
Sir.
different schools. But yeah, man, I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Go Terps.
Hey, all right.
Make sure you let them know.
But yo, is there anything else that you want to share with the homies?
Nah, man. I'm just a man here, just trying to pour into other men and just use the gift that God's given me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just here to give back.
I love that. Well, we're excited for the conversation. So for the new homies who, if you're joining for the first time, pretty much in season 1, I talked about All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. So I covered each chapter of the book, sharing my personal experiences about just kind of things that I experienced and some key lessons that really stood out to me from the book. And in season 2, I've been having different homies come on the episode to really share about their own personal experiences. We get a chance to talk about love. And so welcome and excited for you to join this conversation. So Nate, anytime I have like guests on the podcast, I always like to, first just do a little quick check-in of like, how are you doing? You know what I mean? So how are things with you, man?
Things are good. Things are great. Started off the year pretty well. No complaints. I'm back at work. I was recovering from an injury I had sustained last year. But like I said, I'm back at work. Modeling is going well. Acting is looking up. So I'm just going with the flow, trying to trust the process and understand that God has had me in the right places at the right time, and just trying to, let go of all that control.
Amen. That's beautiful. Yeah. I feel like that letting go of control is such a critical thing, and when we allow ourselves to do that, just like the possibilities can really be endless. So I'm excited for you with that releasing of that to see like what comes possible.
For sure. No, it's been a great journey. It's full of like ups and downs, of course, but that faith that sustains you is really you can't put a price tag on that. So that's what's really important. Once you get that, just kind of trusting that and living in that, and it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Safe space.
No, that makes sense. So with us having a chance to share how we're doing, would love to invite like grace. And the reason why I always love to do that because life is happening, it's moving and grooving, and it's important to just kind of have a moment to make sure that we're showing kindness towards ourselves. And so really, the opportunity is really to share like, how have you been showing grace to yourself recently?
Oh, wow. So recently, actually, it's interesting. Like I said, I was just back at work, and I found myself like pouring in everybody else. So like, I was over here, running over there, just trying to help facilitate people and just trying to, just give what I can do and give whatever I can to someone else. And so I had to show myself grace this week and kind of slow down. Like, I had to communicate to my my higher ups and let them know, hey, look, like I'm not taking time to myself and really need to take some time and take a day or two to really recalibrate and make sure I was looking after myself. So, I mean, that's kind of how I showed myself grace this week, is kind of slowing down, reflecting on everything that has happened and everything that's going, and giving myself time to recalibrate. And so I'm able to pour into people the way I'm supposed to. So, yeah, that's how I show myself grace, is being able to communicate to everybody else this week and let them know what's going on with me so that I can then give myself some time to recalibrate,
No, that's important. I feel like that's like advocating for yourself.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I need a break. I need a break. I need the
Tired,
rest.
boss.
You know what I mean? Like honoring that. So shout out to you for like doing that because that's
Appreciate
major,
it.
man.
Yeah. It's
That's
something
major.
that you have to learn over time because sometimes you can just be moving so much
Oh,
you
without a
forget
doubt.
about yourself. So it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something I had to learn. But you know, it was a good lesson I learned this week. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
helped. It's helped.
I feel like grace is like always so interesting for me because I'm like, how can I bring in more grace? You know what I mean? And I think for me, the ways in which I've like shown grace to myself is I feel like resting. You know what I mean? I was like last week I was like still recovering from like some type of cold, you know what I mean? And I was like trying to test my like I was like, oh, I'll like sweat it out, I'll go for a run, I'll be good. And it was like my body was like, nah, bruh, you need to chill, And so I feel like grace to myself is just like actually making space to just like calm down,
There you go.
taking off and just saying like, I need a break and like just not trying to do too much or overexert myself. Which now I'm like, oh, I feel a lot much better, because of that. So I think that that rest, similar to what you were talking about, is also something I've been doing that has allowed for me to feel good,
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so we talk about grace. So I want to invite you all as the homies to think about how can you show more grace to yourself, right? Like life is happening, but it's also important to make sure that you have those moments where you are prioritizing kindness towards self because you deserve it, we deserve it, and yeah. All right. So now that we've had a chance to kind of talk through grace, checking how we're doing, I always love to lean into like setting an intention for the space, because we get a chance to co-create the space. So when thinking about this episode, our time together, what is one intention that you want to put into the space?
I want to be I want to be genuine.
Okay.
And, very upfront with my process and the just discovering everything that I'm saying. So like showing you the process that it took me to get to the thought process that I have now. So and just being open and transparent with that, and so people understand like it's a journey in that too. Kind of trying to train your mind to think certain things and like being able to pinpoint the negative behaviors and negative thoughts and like and understanding that that's all part of those are all things that are very real. So once you understand that and able to control that and able to acknowledge that and see that, you can start to change. So just being transparent in my process and how I change, and hopefully that can ignite somebody else to kind of want to do the same thing.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, let's rock with that. Genuineness and just like transparency and sharing the process. All right, that's the intention, y'all. So I feel really good about this conversation, man. Wait a minute now. I know I got that Palo Santo stick. Where you at? All right, so everyone knows what time it is. I don't know if you know the song. I think you know the song, but feel free to join in as you want. All right, But for those who don't know, we have the Palo Santo stick right here, y'all, and it is time for my favorite song of the day. The Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. The Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. The Palo Santo stick is lit, lit, lit. The Palo Santo stick is lit. Is lit. I appreciate you participating, man. You gotta have fun, man. I'm just like, everybody always serious. All the guys always want to be serious. So I'm just like, y'all so boring. Boo. But no, I love lighting the Palo Santo stick, man, because again, it's just like you smell it, like it's just like a, whoo, man, it smells so good. And it's also like for me, really resetting the space. It just brings in that positive energy. There's already a lot of good energy in the space, but the Palo Santo stick really serves as like to amplify it, essentially. So now that we've light the Palo Santo stick, let's get into these thoughts. So As I mentioned, All About Love, New Vision by Bell Hooks. At the beginning of the book, she shared about this graffiti work that she would like walk by, and it like served as inspiration to her. And it says, "The search for love continues even in the face of great odds." And I would love to hear from you. Why do you believe the search for love must continue even in the face of great odds?
So it's important for you, like I said. So I'm gonna start off by saying like, and I view love is in like how I do love is how God loves me. So God loves me and through adversity, through my own negligence, through my own not understanding, my own not listening. So in order for you have to be able to continue to show love through those times so that God is able to do his thing. So that's the way I view it. So whenever I'm going through things, whenever life starts to hit me, I have to stay grounded in who I am, grounded in God, and understanding that like in order for God to work through me, I have to continue to pour out this love. Like despite the things that have happened to me, despite life and what's going on, because God's not gonna be able to show up the way He's supposed to show up for not just me, but for whoever I'm supposed to be touching. So if I'm not able to love because I'm letting adversity or whatever stop me from being my genuine self and pouring into people the way I'm supposed to, that life that I'm able to give isn't going to be given because I'm so stuck in whatever I'm in my own personal circumstance. And it's important for you to be able to look past that and to still give love so that, because at the end of the day, we're not living for ourselves, we're living for everybody else. So like, and love is a big part of that. So if you're not able to love and allow yourself to be loved and allow yourself to love on someone else, and like you're not able to really give life, you're not living. So like you know what I'm saying, I feel like that's a big part of why you need to continue through adversity, like you know what I'm saying, and still show up and still be able to pour into people and still able to give that love, unconditional love, which is really hard to find. But like a lot of people, you'd be surprised if the people that you able to love that need it, you know what I'm saying, what you could do in somebody's life by just like showing them love, like you know what I'm saying. So for me personally, I just think that if you let life like control your ability to love, then you stop the you kind of you slow down someone else's ability to able to grow because they're not receiving the love that you would possibly be able to give because you've let life stop you from doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I hope I was able to articulate that right. But like you know what I'm saying, it's you got to be able to love through adversity so whoever's supposed to receive it is able to receive it.
Yeah.
If you're not able to put it out there and you let life stop you from doing that, then we're not flowing the way we're supposed to because we're all connected at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like what I'm hearing is that, because of there's like the adversity that we face in life and like who we become because of that, and how that allows for us to serve others essentially, which I think is such I'm like, that is like, it takes a while to get there, you know what I mean? To reach a point of like, going beyond one's adversity, whether it's whatever it might be, and like seeing like I need to overcome this adversity not only for myself but to help others. And so I want to hear more about like how did you get there? How did you get to a place where you were able to move through the adversity to say like, I'm doing this because I know that there's something I'm meant to do from what happened or what is happening.
I guess it's for me. I feel like I was called. Like I just felt like there was a void in my heart. Like I feel like because I let myself stop loving other people. Like I really shut myself off because I was hurt, and because I let adversity get to me. And like and it was normal. I lost my mother my freshman year of college, and that's just one of the things adversity wise I've gone through. And I think that was one of the biggest that kind of shut me off from the world. And I think that over time I was able to reconnect with myself and understand myself better and understand the power I had in telling my story. I guess you can get kind of consumed in what has happened to you that you don't realize that same thing that's happening to you is happening to a lot of other people in this world. And the power that you have to continue and push through your adversity is a superpower in itself that some people do not have. So because you're this superhero, because you have this superpower, it's important for you to, fly out and save these people and speak your truth and speak what, speak about the things that have happened to you and why that why they define you, but at the same time, why like it's shaped you into who you are, and trusting that process and understanding that God has made you who you are for a reason, and in you trusting yourself and in you trusting Him, like you're able to save so many more people. So it's just like I guess I realized my own power of voice because I was that person that let adversity stop me from loving other people, and it stopped me from like flowing the way I was supposed to. And once I was able to find myself and understand like, my flow and why I was here, like now when I pour and I tell my story and I tell the adversities that I've been able to go through, I understand like I didn't go through that for myself. I went for that to make me strong enough to tell other people that they can make it through their adversity. So it's just like, it's given me perspective and an understanding of life that I feel like a lot of people aren't able to get. And I'm blessed to receive that, and I'm just thankful. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the shift for you though? Because you mentioned like there was a part of you that, that was grieving essentially,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I think that's like such a real thing. You know what I mean? Like grief is, whew. So yeah, like what was the shift where that changed?
So the shift was I took myself to like the bottom. I feel like I was so cut off from the world, and I was so hurt, and I was so in my feelings that I pushed myself to a point where like I had to. It was like, this is not what life is about. Like I was like, this can't be what it is because I'm miserable. Like I'm really like upset. And then I kind of got to the point where I had to ask God, and I was like I'm done. Like I just want to be happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And once I was able to like really, say that with a full heart, and He was able to hear me, I think after that, He started to show me exactly why He put me through the things He put me through. And then so I guess the shift was I kind of put myself in the dumps until like I got to the point where I was like, oh, like if I keep doing this is what I'm gonna get. These are my results. So at some point I gotta change this and allow myself to be happy and allow myself to feel and put myself out there again. And so like that was kind of like my personal shift, is I just kind of ran myself into the ground, and then I was like, all right, well, I don't want to do that anymore. So let's see what this feels like.
Yeah. Sounds like there was like some surrendering as well.
Fully. It was a lot of surrendering. There was a lot of I went through a breakup, and it was probably one of the worst ones, just because it was more of a trauma. It was a trauma bond. So I found myself connecting with someone that had also lost their parents around the same time I had. And as a result, I felt like I was supposed to take care of that person just because we were bonded in that way, like, so like, I don't know if anybody's been through a trauma bond, but that's kind of like one of the worst bonds you could be in, especially through something so traumatic. So it was like, all right, that hurt, but it also woke me up to like who I really was, and like, you know what I'm saying, like the importance of me like getting out of this rut and really speaking and doing the things I'm supposed to. So for me, it was that, and then that led me to church, and that led me to like couple months in church, just sobbing it out, getting the word, and like it really hitting home for me. And then I met my girlfriend, and then I just started understanding. She motivated me to chase my dreams and move to New York and do certain things. So it just kind of all flowed from there. But like I said, like the real wake up was just me telling God, like, I'm done, like I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I want to be happy. And He did the rest after that. It was just me trusting that He was going to do what He said He was going to do for me,
Yeah. So something else that I would like, as I was listening, it sounded like you also allow for others to support you. And like, I'm curious, do you feel like, is that accurate? Is that true? Where it was like, once you surrendered and said like, this is what I want. Do you feel like there was some openness to, allowing others to support you on the journey?
So like, yeah, allowing others to support you. Like I said, I cut myself off. So like, and that's why I said it's important to like allow yourself to not only receive love but to give love. You know what I'm saying? So I think once I made that surrender, I was able to like, and mind you, people were trying to give me love the whole time. It was just I wasn't in a place to receive it. So like once I would put myself in a place to receive it, and I was in a place of surrender, I was able to hear and allow people to help me, and they were able to pour into me, and by them doing that, I was able to get myself together, find myself, and then I was able to pour into other people. So like I said, love, we're all connected. I think love is very important. We got to flow, and we got to allow ourselves to love so we can help the people that are we're meant to help, so they can help other people. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I think because also it's like, what I was hearing was like there was grieving. That was like the grieving process, which is something that, you know, that is a real thing, and everyone's journey is so different. And so that's why I was like also acknowledging it's like you were grieving. You know what I mean? And like that, there, we have to make space for the grieving process.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I think there was a point in time in the grieving process where it was like, I'm ready to receive and like you receive this love and support. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was like something that was coming up for me as I was like listening.
Yeah. For sure.
When thinking about because you also talk about like God's love and like the church. So I want to hear more about just like how has God's love influenced the way in which you love others?
Oh, it's literally the base. So like I'm able to love others based on like how I've seen him love me. So like, my understanding, like the more spiritual understanding I get of God and like how he moves and like the grace that he gives me throughout life, like I'm able to love I'm trying to mimic that in the way and when I deal with people. So like, just giving someone grace when you see that they're just projecting their own insecurities onto you, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like giving the toxic masculinity guy grace for like whatever he's going through, because he doesn't understand like the words and like the way he's like affecting other people. So it's just everybody's dealing with something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you realize that everyone's dealing with something and they just found their own clique that are dealing with the same thing, like once you find that peace and understanding, it's like, all right, well, like I'm less judgmental and more like, all right, well, like how can I help this person see what I see? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's less about me forcing them to see it, but also about me walking and having character, so like they have something to reference. So I think sometimes there's so much other things in this world that we're referencing, and we don't have too many like really solid foundational people that are like grounded in what's real and like to reference from. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like my whole purpose is to be grounded in who I am and grounded in what I am, and not, project this image that I feel like the world wants me to project, and just be my full genuine self. And through that, someone else is going to be able to reference that and see that and be able to mimic that and be like, this is how I feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to move like this and not feel like I got to change who I am or change how I act and treat people to fit into this mold that society has told me that I'm supposed to be, especially as a black man. So it's like, just being genuine in myself and moving in that, and being unapologetic about it, and just being free with my emotions and free with my heart and loving unconditionally, and like truly like being okay with that, and not feeling like I gotta put on this like super, like I am that person, but I don't have to move the way y'all moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can be that and still be myself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of people are missing. And especially a lot of young men, like I feel like they feel like they had this power and they gotta put on this, and it's not about power, it's not about none of that. It's about balance, and it's really about love. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just loving someone like correctly. You know what I'm saying? And allowing yourself to be loved correctly so you can heal and be what you're supposed to be. So like, I feel like it's important for me to mimic that, especially how the ways that God has blessed me. Like I have no choice but to do what I feel like that He put me on this earth to do. So, you know what I'm saying? So the way I love people is I try to mimic the same way that God has shown me grace and is able to love me. So like that's the baseline for like how I'm able to like how I try to love, at least. Like, I look at myself first. Like if we was to have an argument, I'm gonna look at, as a man, I'm gonna look at myself first and try to understand what I could have done differently, or like what things that maybe I said that could have triggered some of your own issues, and like how I can navigate that better. But like that's me being a man and being okay, like not feeling like just because you're vulnerable with me that I'm supposed to take advantage of your vulnerability and make you feel small. Like, nah, like you trusted me to tell me something, I'm gonna receive that, and I'm gonna give you like some acknowledgement and some like you know what I'm saying, whatever I can do to pour into you. I'm not gonna make you feel like, oh, this is an uncomfortable space, like I can't, you can't tell me anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a big issue with some men nowadays, is like we don't have safe spaces, and we find safe spaces with our women because our women, they love us. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we in competition with other men. And it's like, for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants to be the biggest dog, and it's like, just be yourself, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you could be yourself, like you're the biggest dog if you could be you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and take advantage of nobody, manipulate anybody. I'm really just walking around here genuinely myself. Like, and happy in that.
But that's a process too.
It's a process.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, you know, I'm like, it takes so much work to get to that point. You know what I mean? That's not like you wake up one day, you like, I'm authentically me, you know, like there is a lot of like unlearning. A lot of unlearning, a lot of exploration, a lot of just work to get there. You know what I mean? And so, you know, with that, it made me like, I was like one or two questions popped up, but I think the first one I would love to hear is just like, what would you tell the younger Nate about like love? Like, you like, hey, young Nate, this is what I want you to know about love. What would you tell him?
It's funny because my girlfriend always asks me, like, what would you tell your younger self? And I'd be like, that man would not listen to nothing I had to say. Like, which is crazy to think about, but I know me, like, I'd probably be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to figure it out myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then fall on the ground. But honestly, I would tell him to, like, allow yourself to be loved, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Allow yourself to feel. I feel like as when I was young, I felt the pressure to kind of like not have emotions and be so stern and strong, and like, you know, I feel like I understood the how detrimental that was once my mother passed away, because I'm trying to sustain this like, oh, I'm a man, I can take it. I'm gonna go through college and I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna talk to anybody. Like, I'm gonna be this, you know what I'm saying? And it destroyed me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would wake up crying some days. I'd be in the middle of like something and it just comes out. Like, you gotta be, I felt like whoever taught me that was wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they putting out there and they tell you that is wrong. Like, accept your emotions, be vulnerable, be authentically yourself, like cry, it's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get it out, you human. So like, for you to feel like you can't be emotional, you can't feel as a man is foolishness. And I feel like society kind of tells you that. And I feel like that's why a lot of men, like, they run into these women and they not really true. They just run into space because they don't have any safe space with men. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're running over here to try to have a safe space over there, which works, but then you get into these relationships, you're not ready, you're not able to commit, you're not in the right headspace, like, because you really just trying to find yourself through someone else, and it's like you don't really know what it means to be a man, like, you know what I mean? So it's you got a bunch,
Or to even just be you.
Even just be you,
You know
like,
what I mean? Like, not even just a man, because I
Yeah.
feel like that within itself has its own.
Its own, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think,
sure.
and it was something that, you know, it's like we as men, there's definitely a shift for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the awareness of like emotional intelligence and just our feelings and expression of feelings, I think that like we are making more space to explore those different emotions. And so I love that it's like, yo, let people love you. You know what I mean?
People love you.
Because I think that like, you know, we were talking about that power earlier. And there's this dope organization I worked with when I was in DC, and like power wasn't focused on like what you could do to others. It was focused on like acknowledging what you have within, you know, and like your ability to affect change in a positive way, you know, and or really affect change in just general, whatever that might look like, with the encouragement and focus on like, you know, you have so much good in you. Share it with the world, you know? And I think that that's like, I don't know if all young men hear that. And so because of that, I think it's like, it makes this belief of like, oh, I gotta like, you know, like be this stern, this cool pose, and essentially. And then even then, right, it's like a form of protection. You know what I mean? It literally is like, I am protecting myself so that no one tries to hurt me. You know, and it is of course something that we learn. We and then until we realize like this is only pushing us away from everybody, and like we are not getting close to anybody, and like we're the only emotion that only emotion that people see us or hear us is like when we're angry. You know what I mean? But that under that anger is like just hurt.
It's just
you
hurt,
know what I mean?
bro.
Just hella hurt. You know,
hella hurt.
just hella hurt out here. You know what I mean? It's just
And the
like
older
moving
you get,
through the
the
world.
less people like care about it. It's like he's just angry. Like, nah,
No,
nigga
it's like hurt.
bro.
You just hurt. You just hurt. There's so many. You know, I'm still hurt, okay? All right? It is still present, all right? But over time, you know, we can work through it. It's not something that we have to always be hurt. But I think acknowledging, like, yo, I'm hurt is such a big step.
It's the first step, bro. You got to acknowledge, like, accountability, acknowledgement is the first step at anything. You gotta be real with yourself. If you can't be real with yourself, you can't navigate conversation. You can't do anything. Like you don't know who you are. Like you're not even being real with you. Like how you gonna be real with somebody else? So it's like that is literally the first step, and that's the hardest one because it's like we have these perceptions of who we are, and it's like they don't always carry out into reality. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're living in your head. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're really moving different than you think you are because you hurt. Like you know what I'm saying? Once you acknowledge that and you accept that and you try to heal and you start seeing the signs and the way you're responding, the way you thinking, it's like, all right, I gotta tweak that. I gotta change this. Like, all right, then you're able to recalibrate and really be your true, genuine self. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we all grow up, we all go have experiences, and we all get hurt. So it's just growing up, I feel like is acknowledging that and then reversing that. Like, literally, like you, all growing up is just changing all the hurt that happened to you when you was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can get back to your natural self. Real, right?
Yeah, which also is like this thing where with the hurt, right? Because I'm like, we will get hurt throughout our life. That is like a natural thing that's going to happen. But over time, the goal is that we gain more tools and resources to support us, so that when we get hurt, we're not like harming ourselves or harming others.
We don't stay hurt. Like,
you know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, you hurt, but like I know how to take care of myself. You know what I mean? So I love that, and so and then I think this is also connected to it, which is like safety. You know, emotional safety, because I think that, you know, it does take a level of emotional safety to like be able to say like, or either emotional safety or courage to be like, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
You know? And so when you think of like your journey of being emotionally safe, like how did, like, I know that you mentioned like how did you get there? Because I feel like you shared that you were open to people supporting you, but like, where's there a space where you like, I feel emotionally safe?
Lady right here. That's my emotionally safe space. You know, I was thinking about this last night. Like the only reason why I'm able to move and pour into people the way I'm supposed to is because how much she pours into me every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's created a safe space for me to be myself and like understand myself better, which has allowed me to like navigate this world. You know what I'm saying? So it's very hard. Like nowadays, it's hard to find someone genuine that cares about you and is really invested in you and just wants to see you grow, and is not wanting anything from you. And so like when I was able to receive that and create that safe space and really connect with myself again, and like ask questions, like be vulnerable, like, you know what I'm saying, ask her the weird stuff that you don't feel comfortable asking anybody else, you know what I'm saying, and for her not to like make a face or like just to receive it and give me a response is like, that means so much. Like, and think about when you ask like the teacher something and she looked at you crazy and made you feel weird about asking the question.
I was like, damn it, I won't ask it again.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you hurt. And like, you know what I'm saying? So that safe space for someone to create and allow you to just ask and just just be real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's always, like, it's okay for you not to know. And who am I to, like, when someone asks me a question to kind of, like, look at them like, how could you not know this? Like, maybe they didn't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not my fault. It's not their fault. But, like, if I can give it to them, let me give it to them now. So it's like, it's very important, like tone and just how you react and talk to people is, you never know what triggers you hitting for somebody. So I got to contribute that all to her, which is why, you know, we work so well together, is because we have a safe space for each other to kind of just navigate this world, which is trying to hurt us all the time. So, you know, you got to have that safe space for sure.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that something that was coming up was like, based off of what you all have cultivated within the safe space that y'all are, what does that look like for you to create safe spaces outside of your relationship?
Like in terms of like with each other, or are you talking about like if I was to go out like creating my safe space?
Yeah, so expanding it essentially.
So she gave me the blueprint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you have a safe space, like, you know how to navigate other people, and you understand other people better, and so that you're able to give them that same space that you was given. So it's just a learning process. Like, once someone enters your life and they show you something, it's like, oh, wow, this is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like this. You know what I'm saying? You meet someone else, and you could see maybe some of the issues that you might have had, some of the tendencies, and like, all right, well, like, I can curate the same thing that she gave me over here, like, if they want it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just kind of like, once you get the blueprint for it, you're able to give the blueprint to somebody else, and hopefully they learn and understand what you did for them, and they're able to give the blueprint to someone else, and like, kind of put their egos to the side and like really understand the other person and create that safe space to be vulnerable, to talk, and to just be themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, yes, but more so what I was saying was like, we're thinking about like, so a reason why I asked that, because something we were talking about earlier was like how our our partners can be our safe space, right? But like, we also have like these different relationships, right? And like, you know, essentially it's like the invitation of exploring like, how do we have safe spaces not only within our relationship with our partners, but also our friends, with our family members, or like whoever, you know, where we have like an extended network of support, you know what I mean? And so that's what I was curious to hear more about, was like, how has that, like the safe space that you and your partner have built together, how has that informed the safe spaces that you want to create or are creating with others?
Well, it's allowed me to kind of pick and choose like who I invite into my safe space. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's allowed me to kind of see characteristics in people and characteristics that I want around me in my safe space. And so it's more so about, now that I'm aware what I need to be in my safe space, I'm able to find people and really set my frequency to a point where they kind of just come to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you kind of got, like, even how I met you, like, I had a safe space. My energy was already up here. So, like, when I met you, I was able to pour into you. And, like, now we're able to pour into each other. So it's like, I've reached a certain frequency and a certain mindset. So, like, I'm attracting, like, other people into my safe space that want to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the world is, it's all about frequencies. And once you get to your frequency, you attract other people in that frequency, or even other people that want to be on that frequency. So like, they naturally are driven to you, and you've already created your safe space. So like, you kind of know how to navigate and what is important to be in a safe space. So like, whether it's communicating and letting someone know like how you feel, and like them navigating that, and then, you know what I'm saying, it's all about their response. Like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes when someone's hurt, they're not always going to respond the way you would want them to respond, even though you're creating a safe space. Like, let's say like, I'm vulnerable with you and I'm trying to create this safe space with you, but you take my vulnerability as weakness and you use it against me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to know that that's a possibility, because you're still hurt. But I also have to know that for me to come back and still give you that safe space again is a chance for you to kind of look at yourself and realize like, damn, like, I took advantage of this one time. He's still coming back. He's still here. He's still trying to create this safe space for me. Maybe I should be vulnerable and take advantage of this. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's important for you to understand that these people are hurt, but like, because I have a safe space, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I could just leave you over here. But because I have this space and I have something to come back to, I'm able to refuel myself, come back, and give you another chance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. Like, sometimes you got to continually show people, like, I'm not here to hurt you. Like, because they always have this guard up. And so you kind of got to be like, put yourself in the background. I'm like, all right, like, you know what I'm saying? Get my ego out of this. Like,
Yes.
let me show up for my man again. Let me let him know, like, it ain't really about that. So we can create this space but I know that we will thrive in once we get it, once we're all on the same page. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It made me think of unconditionality. You know what I mean? And just like, there was actually, I had a conversation with someone I see as like a big brother, you know what I mean? Like a mentor. And one of the things he was saying was like, we as men, we need to lean more into unconditional love. You know, that is something that we might not have been as called to do as much just because of like society. And the opportunity to lean into it is something that can actually be healing to like ourselves, but then also our loved ones. You know, so it just made me think about that, where it's like, all right, you want some, you're going through some stuff right now. You want something that I'm not really feeling, but I fucks with you.
I'm gonna roll.
So I'm gonna come back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give that grace. And don't keep giving that grace.
There you go.
And keep giving that grace because there's so much there's the possibility in the outcome of like we can get there. You know what I mean? And or acknowledging like it is new. And so sometimes like, and I think that's the thing that, you know, with all processes, right? It's like the time frame is different for everybody, you know? And so what might have been short for you will be long for someone else, and just like vice versa. And so how do we navigate? How do we make space for that? How do we like move through it together in a way that is not harming anybody in the way? And if there is harm that comes up, it's acknowledged. And there's like a very intentional effort to repair. Because I think that that's something that, you know, sometimes we can avoid conflict and tension because of the fear of like rupture in a relationship without acknowledging like there's also a possibility to repair it. It's effort and work, but it's better to do that than to like have like no communication and then like things, you know, fester from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of ego. Like, people gotta let go of their egos for sure, and which is really hard to do. It's easier said than done. But understanding like that safe space, like just being vulnerable with somebody, because you said like you could do something, you're scared it's gonna get ruptured, and y'all talk for like 5-6 years, and it's something that y'all probably could have handled if someone would have just put down their ego for a second, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to navigate, and not everybody's gonna be receptive to it, and it's not gonna happen overnight. But it's always just trying to leave yourself open to when things, you know, whenever God, you know, sets things up to kind of work themselves out, and just being open to that possibility. And when it does happen, like, you know, just don't shut yourself off from it, like, because it might not happen when you want to, but when it does happen, it's like you got to be open and accept it. Because if you don't, then nothing's gonna grow from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of being prepared and ready for whenever it does happen. You know.
You know, when you said that, I was like, y'all, homies, don't let the ego get in the way. You know what I mean? Don't let the ego get in the way. Before we move on to the next like question, I wanted to ask you, like, what's been your favorite lesson that you've learned from a woman about love?
About love, I would just say like love unconditionally. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the biggest lesson I had was to truly like allow yourself to love. Like, 'cause sometimes you think that you loving someone, or you think you showing them love, but I think if you really love someone, that you got to look at yourself. Like, you got to really look at yourself differently, and you gotta be honest with yourself and be real with yourself, and say like, I'm not loving this person, or I'm not able to love the way I'm supposed to because I don't love myself yet. So like, I think it's just being free in love and not overthinking it. Like, sometimes people like put like real world stuff on love, and it's like love is stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, love, you don't think about it. You can't overthink love. Like, you gotta just do it. So like, I think some people, like, especially with women, like, they're really great at like just loving, like, seeing maybe some of the issues, but still loving you through that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think men tend to overthink it or think, try to like, make sense of it. And sometimes it's not supposed to make sense. You're just supposed to feel it.
Yeah.
And so I think I learned that from a woman, just being able to like, just genuinely like love someone and be there for someone and just feel it and not like overthink it and just let it flow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just trust that like we're gonna mesh the way we're supposed to. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just loving unconditionally, like really loving and being patient and loving with your heart and not your head and nothing else. Like truly loving with your heart.
Yeah, you saying that, and I was like, what have you witnessed the impact? Like, by you loving unconditionally, what have you seen happen?
I mean, I've seen growth, not only myself, but like my partner. Just truly being vulnerable and being transparent with each other and being okay with loving, like just being your full like lovey-dovey self. Like, you know what I'm saying? We'll get dressed up and be twinning and just enjoying that. Like not overthinking it, not doing it for Instagram, not doing it for this person, like just doing it for us and like just being happy in that. And we've both seen so much growth in our own lives and the people that we're around and the people we're able to pour into. So it's just like that love that we've been able to curate is allowed us to like, show other people how to love and do that properly. And so like that's the best thing, that it's growth, like comes from love. Like really being in love, you're able to grow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like literally that's it. Growth is love. Love is growth. That's the best thing you could ever get from loving someone is growth.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So pretty much, we have this lovely bowl right here.
All right.
The bowl got the words, y'all. So within this particular bowl, this is dropping gems. So we're entering our dropping gems part of our time together. And so there's different aspects of love. So there's like self-love, there's family love, there's romantic love, there's spiritual love, and there's like another love too, So pretty much I'm going to pick one of the loves out here. It's random, so you can't see it, all right? Y'all can't see nothing, okay? All right, it's always random, y'all, all right? And yeah, pretty much the question I'm gonna put into the space is like, what is your favorite gem about that, like that particular type of love, and why is that your favorite gem, or how did you learn that gem?
Okay.
All right. So, as you all know, we have another song that we're going to be singing, and this one, it's called Dropping Gems, y'all. Okay, so I said we dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? We dropping gems. We dropping what? That's what I'm talking about. See, match the energy, man. All right.
I got you.
All right, so let's see what we got here today. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, friendship love. Friendship love. So, what is your favorite gem or lesson about friendship love, and why is that your favorite gem, or how did you learn that gem?
I love my friends, but also like I invest in their spiritual growth. So like a lot of my friends, I feel like, or people that I'm close to, I'm really spiritually connected. It's like everything I do it has a spiritual meaning to it, a spiritual reference for what I'm going through, and so I try to love my friends and teach them what God has taught me. You know what I'm saying? So I try to give them a spiritual reference and help them on their spiritual journey and kind of disconnect from this world and what society tells you is going on, and so you can really understand what God is trying to teach you in this moment. I'm able to love them the way God is able to love me and give them the same grace that He's able to give me. So like that's what I kind of do for my friends, and how I kind of go about my relationships with my friends is being able to give them some spiritual references for what they're going through, and also like allow myself to give them grace for what they're going through, and give them examples of how maybe like I've gone through some of these things, and how God has given me grace, and how we're kind of supposed to give each other grace, and be patient with each other as we're going through our spiritual journeys together. You know what I'm saying? So just that spiritual reference is a big part of my friendships, and I feel like it's a real gem to be able to be connected to your friends, not on just a worldly level, but on a spiritual level. So like not just talking about sports, not just talking about girls, but really having a understanding of who we are, and being able to share our spiritual references with each other. So I think that's a big gem for any relationship, especially a friendship, is to really have a spiritual connection with the person and have a deeper understanding of them and where they're going, and so you're able to help each other navigate this real world life that we're in.
And Bell Hooks talks about that, just like investing in like someone's spiritual growth. And so like I think that is like like that's connected to what she talks about in the book about like and I think it is important to invest in like your friend's spiritual journey. You know what I mean? Because there is like through that there is like some closeness that can come from it. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that. And how has that deepened your bond with your friendships?
I mean, I think before I even had that bond, I don't even know if it was a friendship, honestly. Like, I think that defined a lot of my friendships, is being able to be vulnerable and being able to see how you react to me being vulnerable. I think that's changed the dynamics of a lot of my friendships, just because I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't want to be surface level. I don't want to just talk about the same things, and I want to talk about like the spiritual things that are happening in my life, and the just the things that aren't of this world. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of my relationships, like I've been attending a Bible study, like it's a lot deeper than whatever the world is telling you it is. And so like having that spiritual connection with people and having that reference of what they're going through and how like I might have gone through the same thing or I'm about to go through the same thing, like just having those instances where we're really like bonded and we see each other differently, like as people, growing in this world and learning and on our own journeys, like that's defined my relationship. So like honestly, like there's people that I'm not able to be vulnerable with, and I wouldn't consider those I wouldn't consider those friendships. I just think those are like people I pour into, or maybe we have interactions with, but like my real friends, like we all have spiritual connections. We're like I'm very aware of like their spiritual journey, where they're at, where they're going, and I either see myself trying to be like them or like following the same path, or I'm trying to get there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So or they're trying to get to where I'm at. So those are the relationships that I feel like are real friendships, because we of course we surround ourselves with people that we feel like we want to be, or we see ourselves in them. So like to have that spiritual reference for what they're going through, things that you've gone through, and to be able to connect through that is just like that final piece to the puzzle that really makes you a friend. Like, so yeah, that's
I love that. I love that, because like when I think about my friendships, there's friends where it's come up or naturally, organically, and then there's other friends where it's like there's like we don't talk about it as much, and I'm like, I something that I've gotten pretty like it's like a common thing that I do with especially like a lot of my guy friends. It's like, like how's your mental? You know what I mean?
and like honestly, like how's your mental? Like
Exactly.
don't just give me like, oh, it's good. Like how you doing, bro? Like, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like,
Exactly.
have you eaten today? Like,
Yeah.
you straight? Did you
Yeah.
work out? Like, you been laying in bed? Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be vulnerable, be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be comfortable with me enough to know that like when you give me an answer, I'm not gonna use that and weaponize that against you. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, he broke his shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, my man going through it. Like, I'm gonna sit here and try to help him out as much as I can. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a safe space for you. So like, I think that's what a lot of men maybe miss sometimes, and it's we not trying to one up each other. We really trying to be together, and we trying to grow. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm on that type time. So I need other people on that type time. So
Exactly, because I think that's the part too where it's like that learning of one, maybe not being in frequent spaces where everyone's on that time or energy. And so like when it's new, it's like
When it's introduced,
it's like oh, what's this? You're like, what you got going on over here? It's like, yo, hey, you know. So I think like there's like the natural like you know, when it's not common or when, you know, folks have experienced like, you know, folks essentially like taking advantage of their trust, you know, of that vulnerability, you know, it takes a little time, you know, that's hurt.
Yeah,
That's hurt that you carry into other relationships.
Not used
you know
to
what I
showing
mean?
it and being vulnerable and talking about
And
those
it
things.
being like held, you know what I mean? And not something that's like, you know, used to like be thrown back in the face, but like just like, yo, I got you. You know what I mean?
I hear you, understand you, like you know
Exactly. And so that's why it's like that piece where it's like there's so much opportunity for us to like be in those spaces, and I think that a part of it is like you know, it's like we have to just ask those questions, and if we ask the questions, like maybe it's the surface level, and that's okay, but still just constantly make space to ask those questions about like how's your mental, where you at on your spiritual journey, what's going on, you know, like things like that to like just see, and then over time as it becomes more and more consistent, it's like okay, like I know, and I think about a conversation I had earlier where it's like consistency is important. So we're like consistent with how we engage. And now it's like, I trust you. But if it's inconsistent, then it's like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's just like those reminders of what you were saying about like investing in your friends' like spiritual journey. And it just made me think about like just making spaces, even just checking in about that frequently. You know what I mean? So I love that. Wow, man, this has been a really dope conversation.
It's been good, bro. Real good.
I feel like you know, it's funny because you know we've known each other for a minute, you know what I mean, and how we ran into each other. So for those of you, so I've been giving backstories, which I'm just like, you know, I'll give a little backstory, but pretty much, man, we went to the same high school together, and we played football, and like we seen each other at the grocery store, random as hell. Maybe about this year, last year? Well, definitely last year, but like last year, and just like you know picked up and just have been like you know really. So it's really dope to just see how you know even though we haven't talked to each other in years, be able to just have a chance to reconnect and you know have you join the podcast and just hear your story, man. Over the like just the time that we've hung out, just learning all of your journey. You know, I was like talking to somebody. And one of the things I said was like, it's cool when you haven't seen someone for a long time and you get to hear like what they've been up to in their journey. You're like, oh, that's cool. You're like, oh, we're okay, all right. So it's like, you know, the more we talk, the more I get to hear more about like what's been going on with your journey, man. So I really appreciate you pulling up, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. So, you know, homies, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Before we end, one more question. All right, so the question is like Bell Hooks talks about the importance of like returning back to love, and so what I would love to hear from you is how can people return back to love?
I say find God, find yourself, and just let it flow. Like you know what I'm saying. You find those two. You find God. You'll end up finding yourself, and love will come rushing towards you. All right. Like God is love, and He loves you. And once you realize how much He loves you through everything that you've been through, you're gonna be overflowing with love, and you're just gonna be able to put it out and pour it into other people after that. So like, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, find God, find peace, find love, and use that to love on other people and pour into other people.
I love that.
Yes,
Thank you. You heard that, y'all. All right, find God.
Find God.
Find God. By finding God, you find what? Love.
Find love.
All right, y'all. So, thank you again, bro, for pulling up.
For sure.
Thanks, y'all, for tuning into another episode of the Palo Santo and Thoughts podcast. So, before we go, do you want to say your socials?
Yeah. You can follow me, UC Nate on Instagram. That's also my Gmail, ucnate@gmail.com. For anything, any inquiries, modeling, acting, you just hit me on Instagram for sure. DMs, I respond, and yeah.
You heard it. You see Nate? All right. So appreciate you all. And also, please make sure that you all get All About Love, Do Vision by Bell Hooks. It's such a beautiful book and really the foundation of this podcast. So thank you again for tuning into another episode. And until next time, peace.